Okay, now let's go ahead and we're going to do part 4 in our series on Let's Make a Jaw Harp. Now last week we went ahead and we did some really fine polishing, especially of the areas where the teeth go. So the harp's much, much smoother. Now I always like on my harps to do meaningful decorations. Tools I'm going to be using are like 110 volt engraver. However, there's other methods of engraving. You can use a Dremel if you like. Also, we're going to be cutting some place in here. I have a Grobet Swiss file. The Grobet ones are my favorite. However, you can use a cheaper file, especially for starters. And then also for repolishing, I'm going to be using a Dremel 4000 or any brand of rotary tool. I like the ones that have the lock and this to help get the nut off. There are more expensive ones that have quick connect type. I like this type here because I was trying to save money. I'll tag them down below in the description if anybody wants to buy them. It helps out the channel. Now, we spent a lot of time polishing the embouchure areas, the area where our teeth go. So the area that's best polished, I'm going to decide to keep this one facing toward me. And I'm going to be engraving some cool stuff on there. Also, last night, I was so excited last night. I stayed up till like 2:30 in the morning. Last night was the blood moon, so I stayed up to watch the blood moon, the lunar eclipse happen. It was very cool, so I'm going to engrave a version of that on the harp. But for those of you who caught the full moon, it was very bright last night, and then about 1:30 last night, the shadow of the Earth, because the Earth, moon, and sun were aligned, so the shadow of the Earth started looking like a bite taken out of the moon, and about every 5-10 minutes that bite got bigger, and eventually that dark shadow that crossed over the moon turned it red. Because it was really cool to see, because the red wavelengths are all that was making it around. The longest wavelengths of light were all that was making around Earth's shadow, so the moon glowed red. It was very cool to see. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to engrave that on the harp. And things that you're going to need if you are working with power tools: hearing protection, protect them ears. Also, protect your eyes. If you're doing lots of grinding, lots of sanding, lots of polishing, make sure you're wearing some respiratory protection like dust masks, respirators, etc. Now, the first thing I'm going to do on here, see if I can, so I'm going to have to, how can I do this? This is kind of awkward. I need to move the camera up. Okay, because I got to have enough room to physically get this engraver in here without being in the way. Maybe like this. Let's see if we can stay back a little ways. There we go. Now, I always like to mark these. Oh, this is going to be my back here. I always like to mark these with my name. I'll mark the Bev logo on it. It's really easy to mess things up with the engraver, especially if you get in a hurry. We'll put the serial number back here. We'll put, I don't know if you can see this or not. Okay. 4.5. This is squeezed in for a friend in between my normal serial numbers. Then I'm also going to engrave a name on there. My engravings are very crude. And all of my engravings have some type of meaning. Also have the bed logo. Now let's just do some little dressing up. Like spirally. Keep that else have I seen this week? I've been seeing insects. I've been seeing clover. Seeing all the signs of spring. I've seen some birds fighting each other. These are very crude. Engraving. I just put whatever feeling I got, especially coming off of a night of meditation. I'll put bits and pieces of what I gathered in there. That's kind of a cool. I like symmetry, I like asymmetry, and in this area from here to here is where I'm probably going to put, I need to reserve enough room to put the date. So no engraving in between there. I definitely don't want to engrave anything right here because that's where reeds eventually getting cut. Cool items of interest. Lay that a little bit off. I can really go. I like to see discolorations in the metal and let them become a part of the decoration. There we go. Put a bison. Bison horns as well. Really, really like the animal that is the bison. Incredible creatures. We used to have like 55 million of them here on the plains. That was before my time. I like that. It's very abstract symmetries and mostly asymmetrical shapes. Part of this is going to be getting ground back off as we do some flattenings on the harp. Snails are going to be coming back out here pretty soon. engravings. I won't explain them all. You can just look. Art is whatever you see in it. I like to see faces, see forms, and all the things I see. What do you see? Nothing? Something? All right, now I've got about all the engraving I've got to do. I've got enough room. I got the serial number on there. And I also have enough room to put the date on. When I always put the finish on, date on there. I like to cut out a little bit of the arms. And I got to be very careful doing this. I don't want to warp the harp. So I'm not even going to barely tighten this. And I do have a video. I'm going to put it above. If I remember, if I forget, remind me in the comments, a video of when I made the jaws for this. These are high density polyethylene. They're a softer, hard jaw, but they are kind of slick. They don't scratch. Got some pieces of high density polyethylene from a machine shop for free. Now we'll come over here. We got these files. I think I'm going to start off with a round, and right where the arm is, you see I have this engraving here where I cut it with a file. I think in video 1, I'm going to put a little I don't want to take very much out of the frame. So just putting a little divot there, just a little item of interest. Don't want to take off very, ooh. You see I went skidding down there with my file. I'm going to have to sand that back off. But yeah, I got a little divot there. To make it look interesting. And I've got like half round files as well. I could do a bigger divot if I wanted. Ooh, easy. It's easy to go skidding. I want to go back and forth. I don't want to get too much off. But it's really easy to be at an angle, stay at an angle. Okay, that looks nice there. I'm going to do the other side too. That's going to help me with my adjusting a little bit. However, you don't want to file away very much. I'm staying on my mark, or trying to stay on my mark that I filed there, because that is the truest area that I put that bend that I could. Starting with the smaller one first, and hitting with the bigger one. I'll try to keep them even. See, that's filed out there. Looks like I got a little ways to go on this one. I'll hit it from the other side too. Might as well. There we go. I don't want to cut out very much. It's hard to read into the camera how much I've actually taken off. A lot of this I'm looking through the cameras I'm working. I'm moving aside here so my head can see. I'll hit this from both sides so that way it comes out more even looking. There we go. Nice divots in there. I'm thinking of putting ones in the back here where these marks are. If I can do so. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, this is a 3 square triangular file. The profile of it is triangular. It has a nice sharp edge. On some of these I engraved all the way to the edge there. Here's where I'm going to start. See, you have this engraving here. I'm going to start there so I don't end up moving. It's easier to start the sharp edge of the 3 square triangular file than it is to start around. That round tends to skid a little bit more. That one there. There we go. That's got it started. I'll hit it with this. What I love about these Bay files, especially this round one, look at it's perfectly, let's see if we can get this here. It's perfectly tapered. Some of the cheaper files don't have that nice of a taper on them. a little bit. Just a wee mite bit. So hopefully when I'm bending this, it flexes more right there. Now I can hit it with my, on this one I've got a safe edge and I've got a half round profile. Now I did take, and you're going to see in the future, I did take a lot of files and ground my own safe edges. I got that technique from Sean Jones, the great North American maker. Sean Jones told me about grinding safe edges on files so you can have your own custom files made out of other people's files. I went, oh wow, I love that concept. I'm going to take it, and it's very useful. Now these grobets, they did come, some of them did come with safe edges. Okay, that little bit there kind of breaks up the monotony of the frame. It's not very evident on the insides, which I don't want it to be super evident, but I just want a little bit of variance. And lastly, what I'm going to do is, in the end here, I'm going to be doing some more profiling of the harp, grinding some things flat once I have the reed set and it exactly the way I want it. But for right now, I want to keep these edges, as these, especially these edges, these top and bottom edges, as pristinely flat as I can. So that way I can put it on a straight edge and find out if there's any area that's higher or lower. But if I go grinding out some flattened edges for where your fingers go, like I do at the end, if I do that prematurely, I won't be able to tell is the frame flat or not because I've ground away part of it. Let's go ahead. We're going to do some polishing. I'm going to put on my safety glasses, and I've been wearing hearing protection this whole time, so I have no idea how loud I'm talking. I'm a loud talker anyways, and it's kind of rough. I'm just going to go back over it. Just so I can get my inside and my outside. Because after you engrave, it's going to kind of be scratchy. I don't want, I'll take my thumbnail across there. Does it catch? If it catches, it needs a little bit more getting knocked down. I have that area there where I skidded. Look at that one. That's nice. Hello, you're live on the internet. I think my wife has come home. And coincidentally, we're almost finished with this. Hey, dude, what are you doing? Now, you are a part of the video, so anything you say will be on the video, on the YouTube. There we go. That feels nice. And in the end, I'm going to be taking 1000 grit sandpaper and just going over everything and knocking down sharp edges. However, I'm not going to sand on these edges at all because I want to keep this absolutely laser flat. I can take that 1000 grit sandpaper and even hit my embouchure areas. Oh, look at that. Let's make it nice. And I'll probably do some sanding that I won't show on this video just to keep it brief and in bite-sized bits. Yeah, hit that with the 1000 grit. I don't get too horribly crazy with the sanding with the fine grit yet until I have a reed put in there. I just want to get these areas, because these areas, especially these inside areas, are going to get harder to sand and smooth once we have the reed in there, because it's going to be in our way. Yeah, so I think that's going to be cool looking. I like the look of it. I like the feel of it. But we've got a long way to go. And we're 20 minutes. I was trying to hit 20 minutes with this video so we keep them in bite-sized chunks. Anyways, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more harpery. Make sure to keep your arm clean, keep them dry, keep them oiled. But most of all, be good to each other. I love y'all. Harp out. And I'll see